Gets Dressed by Jonathan London. It was cold. Froggy woke up and looked out the window. "Snow, snow," he sang. "I want to play in the snow." "Go back to sleep, Froggy," said his mother. "Don't you know, frogs are supposed to sleep all winter. Wake up when the snow melts." "No, no," cried Froggy. "I'm awake, awake. I want to go out and play in the snow." So Froggy put on his socks, zoop, pulled on his boots, zip, put on his hat, zap, tied on his scarf, zoop, tugged on his mittens, zoom, and flopped outside into the snow. Flop, flop, flop. "Froggy," called his mother. "What?" yelled Froggy. "Did you forget to put something on?" Froggy looked down. "Oops," cried Froggy. "I forgot to put on my pants." He flopped back inside, flop, 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 tugged off his mittens, untied his scarf, took off his hat, pulled off his boots, he left his socks on, and slipped on his pants. Zip. Then he pulled on his boots, zip, put on his hat, zap, tied on his scarf, zip, tugged on his mittens, zoom, and flopped back outside into the snow. Flop, flop, flop. "Froggy," called his mother. "What?" yelled Froggy. "Did you forget to put something on?" Froggy looked down. "Oops," he cried. "I forgot to put on my shirt." "And your coat," added his mother. He flopped back inside, flop, 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 tugged off his mittens, untied his scarf, took off his hat. He left his pants, boots, and socks on, and buttoned up his shirt. Zip, zip, zip. Then he snapped on his coat, zap, put on his hat, zap, tied on his scarf, zip, tugged on his mittens, zoom, and flopped back outside into the snow. Flop, flop, flop. "Froggy," called his mother. "What?" yelled Froggy. "Did you forget to put something on?" Froggy looked down. He had on his mittens. He had on his scarf. He had on his coat. He had on his shirt. He had on his pants. He had on his boots. He had on his socks. He reached up. Yep, he had on his hat. What could be missing? "Your underwear!" his mom laughed. "Oops," cried Froggy, looking more red in the face than green. He flopped back inside, flop, 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 tugged off his mittens, untied his scarf, unsnapped his coat, unbuttoned his shirt, unzipped his pants, pulled off his boots, took off his socks, he left his hat on, and slipped his long johns on with a zap of elastic. Then he put on one sock, zoop, pulled on one boot, zip, tugged on one mitten, zoom, started to tug on the other, and let it drop. And he said, "I'm too tired." And he went back to sleep. night, Froggy. The end. All right, go ahead and record your response on Flipgrid and tell us what your favorite part of the story was. Start off by saying, my favorite part of the story was...